Sometimes I don't know what people are thinking. Welcome back, Troglodytes, to your daily dose of guitar information, the Trogly's Guitar Show. Let's check out 4 guitars tonight, starting with this bizarrely modified SG. So this one was listed on Reverb by Payogard, located in Long Beach, California, and what caught my attention is it said one-of-a-kind Gibson CME exclusive SG, and I stopped reading the title there. I was like, is that factory? Is that what the CME exclusive guitars were going to be? I mean, you could check out this old Rock or Not episode when these things first came out. CME did a 70s style SG with the T-type pickups, and they offered them in a bunch of tropical colored finishes. You can see all the beautiful finishes right here. And they've been a pretty good mainstay for the past 2 or 3 years. So when I saw this thing with that, this, and this, I was like, is that what they were meant to be? But no, unfortunately, then they updated the title to Pro Mod. So let's go ahead and figure this thing out. So first off, generally speaking, you do not have a toggle switch right here on an SG. You don't have anything up here on an SG. That's what makes a solid guitar a solid guitar. So typically it would have looked like this. It'd have the tortoiseshell pickguard, you have a toggle switch right here, and then you've got 4 knobs and an output jack on the front. But they've completely altered the layout here because the toggle switch that was here is now located up here. Looking at the backside of the guitar, yeah, that's a little bit freaky to see back here, but somebody professionally routed that out. That actually looks quite good. And I'm surprised they were able to get that style of toggle in there. I thought for sure they would have had to get the L bracket one. Maybe it's a special low profile one. So we don't have any finish in here. That was my first sign when I was flipping through these things that was not factory. So then they moved one of the volumes from here to up here. They added the TP6 tailpiece, and they ditched the original tortoiseshell pickguard for a black one to complete that whole bumblebee look, which I think is great. But then there's just one big question. What is that for? I mean, for goodness sakes, this is 2019. Oh, wait, no, it's 2022 all of a sudden. What could that switch possibly be doing? Because generally people stop using those after like the late 80s because they finally invented the push-push pots and the push-pull pots. You don't have to route your guitar out for these little mini toggles anymore. So what is it doing? I thought maybe they installed coil splitting abilities on this thing, or in and out of phase in the middle position would probably be a bit easier to do unless they swapped out all the pickups to have 4 conductor wiring. But man, that top horn looks so strange now with this toggle switch right here. It's almost like they shortened it, but you can tell it's just a little bit taller than that other one. Maybe it's just the photo angle of this. So to find out what the mini toggle did, I decided we would look back in here. Okay, so amateur hour. As far as soldering goes, they did a good job routing the back of the guitar, right? But looking at this, it does nothing. Absolutely nothing. The entire reason why that is even there is probably just to fill up the hole. Because if you remember correctly, normally your knobs would be down here. But when they swapped things over, they decided not to do it. But hey, it's there if you have pickups that can do it, or if you want to do that in and out of phase type thing that I was talking about. But at the same time, it's kind of beautiful having that because that was very popular in the 70s and early 80s to do to your guitar. So this being a 70s inspired SG, it's nice. I like it. It's certainly not traditional and for everybody, but you know, it was inventive. They were asking a large premium for it, $2,000. And the listing has ended, so I don't know if somebody bought it or if they decided not to sell it. Next up here, I have another SG I wanted to share with you guys. So this one came out of the Music Zoo's latest made-to-measure custom-ordered batch, and I thought it was the best one of their whole series. So look at this SG. It's a gold finish. You don't see gold SGs too often. You see it all the time on Les Pauls. You can find all gold Les Pauls as well. But on an SG, that is so visually striking, especially with the cream pickguard and plastics and everything. It just pops at you. And that gold finish does a great job at appearing dark at this angle and light at these angles. And it looks like we got like the VOS and slight aging job going on here. But then as you go up here to the neck, oh, something else is different here. You have split parallelogram inlay, so that's like ES345 style. I always think about the Hummingbird first when I think of those. But the split parallelograms are definitely the it factor of this thing. Like the finish is great and everything, but if it didn't have this, would I have talked about it? Probably not. But then you flip it over to the backside and it's also completely golded out. Even your finish had a yellowed lacquer to it. That's why the gold finish looks so cool, because it's also aged at the same time. I think it would have been cooler had they had a black interior case for it, because the yellow on gold is maybe a little bit too much yellow for my tastes. But that thing sold out quickly at $7,300. That appears to have been quite a premium for an SG, but because it was unique, they were able to get it. And to wrap up tonight's episode, I've got a couple of really stellar tops. So here is this Les Paul Elegant. This poor thing got traded around so many times. So here's the story on this one while we just kind of briefly go through these photos together. So the saga starts with this is I first found this thing on Reverb. However, after about a day, it ended up selling. And then the owner that we're looking at the photos of now reached out to me with not one, but two guitars. It was initially offered to me via email by the guy who had it. He was trying to sell, I think, 2 different guitars. And ultimately, I decided to pass on it despite being absolutely beautiful. But get a load of this. Not only is the top just so explosively honeycombly beautiful with that quilt top, it appears to even almost be perfectly book matched, which is rare for Gibson. But the back is also insanely quilted. I mean, just like you can find those quilty and flameback Les Paul Standards in the 2000s, you can also find those in the Les Paul Elegant era in the late 90s. But this one ended up being too worn, and it was more than I wanted to pay at the time. So I said, yeah, you're probably going to be better off selling it on Reverb. So he sold them on Reverb, and then this guy who's making the photos here purchased, I think, both of the guitars from him. And if I remember correctly, these were also offered to me at the same time. So it's like a double offering of the same guitar. It's like, yeah, that thing's cool. So even though this was an absolutely stunning example, I mean, just look at that side profile shot. This thing probably would have been stunning in person. This is when you can really start to tell just how beat up and scratched this one truly is. But sometimes on really special examples like that, you just have to accept it for what it is. But these ended up selling again. So that's the second time this thing has been on Reverb. Still had the original case and everything, the really nice, Snake Pit era case. So the next time we saw this thing was actually at Chicago Music Exchange. The owner was also trying to sell off a Riverside Red Les Paul Catalina, and it looks like CME ended up buying both of them. So even in all the various different lighting situations, you can tell this is just a stunning example. So I think it started at like 3,200, 33, something like that. And then it got up to 5,400. Apparently CME was able to haggle them down quite considerably, although they're usually pretty fair with what they pay. I bet they gave them like 4,400 for it. And then they were able to get 5,000. And now somebody is really happy with a fantastic example. Like if this thing would have had a super quilty neck or something, I probably would have overlooked the condition. But yeah, I think I've been buying too many keeper guitars lately. I need to hold off on things unless they're absolutely perfect. But yeah, just in case you didn't know, you can find beautiful elegance. They're not spec'd out to have quilty backs. Sometimes that just happened. And since we just got excited about a top, hey, this guy showed up again. I've been looking for this guitar for somebody, but it's been so long that I've been searching that I forgot who was actually looking for it. That's why generally I don't take, hey, will you look for this guitar for me requests? Because if I do even remember I'm looking for that guitar for somebody, I have a hard time finding them because I get so many messages. But this is an iconic one-piece top Les Paul reissue from the 2019 NAMM show. People were losing their minds over this thing, and I remember it sold for crazy money at that show. But it finally surfaced again here on Reverb. I think it's sold once before, but this is one of those NAMM show display pieces that people want. Like it has a mysterious lore behind it. But it was aged by the factory. It's 2019, and that's a huge turning point for Gibson. I mean, you can check out this review and demo when I had one of the monster tops from the 2019 NAMM show. But I believe the original seller of this one was CME. It's either that or they bought and sold it. But what's really sad about this is they took the NAMM sticker off the guitar. Generally, those would be found on the backside of the headstock. But it looks like somebody removed it and put it at least within the COA booklet so it's safe there. But I love seeing that 2019 NAMM sticker in that booklet. But that is a fascinating top. Like, you don't find one-piece top reissues that often. And if I'm being honest here, it's not all that attractive to me. I kind of just grown accustomed to the two-piece top look. But it is interesting how it's at an angle like that, and it is heavily flamed. I mean, that was a big piece of wood right there. So it was awesome to get to see this thing show back up, but brace yourself for the price. asking $25,000 for a reissue? Believe it or not, super rare, limited edition, lore written about it online. People saw it on all the NAMM videos. That creates a whole different life and market for a guitar like this. It wouldn't surprise me if he got pretty close to that price, but it appears to no longer be available. All right, Troglodytes, I hope you enjoyed tonight's episode. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more daily guitar-related content, and I will catch you on the next one. Take care.